We have another holiday just around the corner, and we are making the most delicious and juicy turkey. I know every family has a great turkey recipe. The reason that you should stay tuned for this turkey recipe is I'm going to share with you how to cook that turkey faster, keep it nice and juicy, have 2 different types of flavoring, and this is going to be a family secret from now on. Step 1 in making this turkey go a lot faster is to break it down into the different components. We're not spatchcocking it, we're actually breaking it down. It's going to cook a lot faster. You're going to get all those flavors into all those different parts. And if you want to flavor part of them differently and spicier and part of your turkey separately and herb and garlic, you can do that. So come in closer and I'm going to show you how I break down this turkey. I'm going to start off by cutting off the leg. So just cut down that skin and you should see right where it meets. And that's really where you want your knife to go. I'm going to continue cutting down the natural separation. It's pretty easy. Your knife will just slide right through. At this point, you're going to yank down on the turkey leg and you'll see that bone pop right out, and you want to slice down this side right here. So let's slice right down that side. And you just keep going along the natural groove and your turkey leg comes off that easy. Turn your turkey around and simply repeat that same process. The legs are off. Now we're going to attack the wings. Again, go down against the natural grain. You're going to see a little bone there and you want to get in between the 2 bones. It comes off very easily. Just separate in between the bones and cut. And that's your wing. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. Repeat that same process. Take out the neck that's in the cavity and any other parts that are in the cavity. Now we're going to try and attack the breast meat, and we're going to simply slice the breast off of the spine bone. And we're just going to cut down the sides, and you'll hear a bit of crunching, but it's not hard at all. And then as soon as you've 3/4 of the way down, just press hard, and it completely divides in half. Now you're just going to cut along all the natural separations. So now you've got the back of the turkey and the front of the turkey. I want to season this up because I might use it for soup or I might use it for stock. So we want to season this up and roast it at the same time that we're doing the turkey. We're going to separate this into halves, and it's just going to allow us to cook this better and also sear it and season it from the bottom up. So this is what you're looking at. This is how it should look when you've divided it. Now you're going to flip it over and take these 2 parts and push as hard as you can down. Now there are 2 options. You can keep the meat on the bone, but I tend to take the meat right off the bone and I slice along the bone and I take the meat right off of the bone. Quick and easy, painless, harmless, fast. And that's what you're left with, a beautiful turkey breast. Now that we've completely broken down our turkey, it's step number 2. How we keep it juicy and moist is by brining it. It's a solution of salt and water. The concentration I'll leave in the description box below. You can certainly put the solution into your turkey the night before, cover it and keep it in the fridge. Or at the very least, if you're going to take the time to brine it, then let it sit in that water, salty water, for at least an hour. I simply sprinkle the salt over the turkey. I don't take the time to make a separate solution. This works for me, but you can dissolve the salt in the water if you want ahead of time. And then carefully and slowly pour that water over all of your turkey until the water is completely submersing all of the turkey. All the pieces are completely underwater, more or less, and we're going to let this sit for at least an hour. So our turkey rested for an hour in that brine, and then all I did was take it out, give it a good thorough wash, get some of that brine off, and then I put a paper towel down on my cutting board and I laid it down, and I just want to dry off both sides of that turkey before we start the next seasoning process. Let's pat our turkey really well so that the next step is seasoning, and the seasoning will stick better, ironically, if you pat it down really well. The seasoning I'm using, like I said, you could do 2 different types of seasoning, but today I'm going to show you one of my favorites, absolute favorites, and you're welcome to use it and try it and share it. I'm starting off by salting the tops, and I'm going to salt the bottom with a little bit of just Himalayan salt. Next, I'm adding a little bit of black pepper, not too much, enough to cover it. And then I'm going to flip them over, do the exact same thing, and flip it back over. Shh. Top secret. Dijon mustard and horseradish. We're going to apply a layer on. Apply a generous layer onto the top side of each piece. And it brings out so much flavor. And we're going to put a few more herbs on top of this. So far, if you've noticed, I have not submerged any oil onto it. I haven't applied any oil onto it. I will at the end, but there's no need to apply gobs and gobs of butter to keep it nice and moist, juicy, and delicious. Now I'm doing a generous sprinkling of basil, dried basil. I prefer the dried to the fresh on this particular recipe. It works out better. It infuses the flavors in so much more. And you just get it right in there. I'm sprinkling on some chopped fresh rosemary. Not too much. You don't want it to overwhelm your turkey. Last but not least is some ground thyme. And I just sprinkle a little bit of that ground thyme onto each piece. This is soon ready to go into the oven. We're preheating our oven to 350 degrees. Because they are cut into smaller pieces, you'll find the cook time is reduced almost by half. The thicker pieces obviously need a little bit longer, and the last 10 to 15 minutes of each cooking time, I take off the foil and I let it roast over the broiler at 425. I'm going to put a good glug of oil right to the bottom and just spread it around. I'm adding the potato right to that pan and just swooshing it around. Now I'm adding a few pieces of lemon right to the bottom as well. We're adding some celery to the bottom of that. I'm seasoning my potatoes too, because we are going to eat these as well with a little bit of salt and pepper. Now this tray is actually for the breast meat. I cook the breast meat and then the dark meat separately. I'm going to lay the breast down on here and spread that skin around so that it's covering a lot of the meat. It's protecting the meat. And we have both of our breasts right on top of all of that. We're going to cover this with a foil and it's going straight into the oven. Now we're working on the legs and the dark meat. I'm adding a little bit of water because this is so much more dense. I'm adding a little bit of water to the base of this, covering it up, and it's going to go in the oven as well. The turkey breast is done, and of course it gets done first. So come on in closer and take a look at how juicy, delicious this turkey breast is. It is just emitting so much flavor in the scent. Doesn't that look absolutely delicious? Let's cut it open. Just so you can appreciate how well the dark meat cooks as well, you can see it's really well browned, it's moist, and it's right at temperature. Let's start cutting this turkey breast. It looks absolutely delicious. Look how moist that is. It's packed full of flavor, and you can see the moisture just barreling out. This beautiful, delicious horseradish and mustard turkey is done in half the time it would take to normally do a complete turkey, and it's absolutely mouth-watering. For more great, interesting recipes, please join me. If you like this recipe, please take 2 seconds to hit that like button. And I always want you to subscribe so we can follow each other and join each other in cooking adventures. Till next time, have an awesome day.